Hi guys. So we are back again. My name is Saurabh Sama. I'm a registered migration agent with Global Vision Migration, and we have 𝐒𝐚𝐮𝐡 as well with us today. Yes, Ankur, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I would like to introduce myself. I'm a laughing Buddha. I was laughing a while ago. I didn't knew that, yes, we were live, but thank you very much. And
Yeah,
yes, we are back once again. And today's live session is once again full of migration news. Thanks to Melbourne Mama and thanks to Global Vision Migration and Xcel Global as well for organizing this beautiful migration talk. We've got our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smar, with us, and I'm your host of the day, 𝐻𝐿. As I said a while before, you can call me Laughing Buddha as well.
Hmm.
Well, Saurabh, let's start the session. Victoria State updates and discussion about the employer-sponsored visas. That is the trick. That is the glitch, right? Isn't it?
Absolutely. So that is very important news, in regards to all the states that's currently being opened up, especially New South Wales. That has been a very big game changer, and also the recent updates by Victoria and how Tasmania has actually opened up yesterday.
Yes, Tasmania has opened up yesterday, and there are some sort of we are getting some sort of news from the applicants, those who are actually not happy with the way Victoria actually organized their state nomination, because that is exactly like a sort of replica of global talent visa.
Yes, they are trying to give it the state nominations to the people who are currently, having exceptional skills and are working in their nominated sectors as well. So that is what News Victoria is currently looking for as well. So people would need to be very careful, which state to apply for, etc. And there are not many opportunities unless you have a STEM qualification or working in 7 target sectors. And I think a lot of people would make a mistake as well in choosing the wrong target sector too.
Exactly, when it come back to the Victoria State nomination updates, when I think a couple of days ago when Victoria actually announced it, and they come back with the sort of session with the registered migration agent in order to make them understand that yes, these are the target sectors which we are actually after, and specifically when it comes to the applicants, right, they are not even able to understand that this is the STEM qualification which they are having, but they are working in a different sector. So how to correlate these two strong points in order to attain the invitation?
Exactly. So not many people even know whether they actually have STEM qualification, or if they do have STEM qualification, they don't know whether they are actually working in 7 target sectors. Sometimes people would make a mistake in choosing the wrong target sectors as well. They probably be thinking that they are working in health, but they probably more fall under life sciences or even medical research if they are working in a research facility. So that is important as well. People would need to choose the right sector that they are working, and it's obviously is going to be difficult for a lot of people as well, provided such occupations such as accountant or management occupations such as marketing specialist, and those occupations won't be able to apply for Victoria State nomination, so they would have to seek other alternatives.
So see, for an example, let's just take one of the case study. I'm an accountant, right, and I've got a bachelor's of statistics from my native country.
Hmm.
Came here, started working, enrolled myself into MPA, MBA, whatever the qualification is, Masters of Professional Accounting. Previously, I used to work in my native country for about 2 to 3 years as an statistician, and then came back here pursuing my MPA, and afterwards started working as the same occupation I was working in my native country, not as an accountant.
Okay. So you're working as a statistician.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the qualification which I was having previously, is it going to make any sort of impact on my current situation as an accountant? Because the qualification is a STEM qualification.
Exactly. So because your qualification does fall under STEM skills, which is mathematics, and then you probably worked as a statistician as well. So in that circumstance, I would expect that you should actually get a skill assessment as a statistician as well from Vertices, as well as get an accountant based on your MPA qualifications. So you would have dual skill assessments, better opportunities to apply for different EOIs as well. And so if you are currently working in one of those 7 targets sectors in Victoria, what you can do is you cannot use your qualifications as an accountant, though you can use your you can use your statistician qualifications, because those are the qualifications that fall under STEM skills. And then yes, you can apply for state nomination as well. It goes to that's what it goes to the heart of the STEM skills. So if you are an accountant and if you have dual qualifications, then yes, you are actually eligible to apply, provided you do have dual qualifications in econometrics, statistics, and mathematics.
So, view was the only reason I actually asked this question in order to you to understand that itself just having a bachelor's of commerce or your master's in professional accounting is not going to make such a difference, because when Victoria announced the STEM qualification and then those 7 target sectors, we were actually flooded with the calls, and specifically for the two occupations, one is chef, one is accountant. When Saurabh was actually trying to give them the explanation, they were not able to understand why. But here is the question. Sorry, here is the answer. That is the reason you are actually not falling into STEM qualification and those 7 targeted sectors. Am I right, Saurabh?
Absolutely. So that's the pretty easy way to explain that as well. That if you are an accountant, you're trying to if you are working in a say for example in a medical research facility or any of the 7 target sectors, but you do have a bachelor's of econometrics, statistics, or mathematics, you could also use that qualification. Maybe focus more on that qualification. That I'm using those skills, my STEM skills, into the kind of work I'm doing.
Now, I'll take the same occupation once again. I've been actually working as an accountant from past 2 years here in Australia, right?
Mm-hmm.
While I was holding my 485 visa. I know, and I really wanted to live here in Victoria itself. Don't want to just go here and there. What are my options with regards to the employed nomination or employed sponsor visas? My employer is actually happy to sponsor me.
Okay, so if you are an accountant, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you are an accountant and you are currently working, and you probably say, for example, if you have more than 3 years of work experience after your bachelor's degree, and you have 6 each and a skill assessment, so you could be eligible for employer nomination schemes such as subclass 186 direct entry as well. Your experience does not have to be with the same employer, and it does not have to all experience does not have to be in Australia. You can even use experience that you did overseas as well. So that means that you do have better opportunities. So if you are currently working with an employer, but if you are an accountant, there are some limitations as well. That your employer must have at least a turnover of $1 million, and then they have the position must be of an accountant, not accounts payable or payroll officer, and they should have at least more than 5 employees. So these are the 3 limitations that the accountants have on their employer. So if you think your employer do meet these kind of requirements, then yes, go ahead. We can assist you with the employer nomination scheme as well. And then you would be able to get your employer nomination scheme 186 direct entry approved in no time. And the good news is, Previously, accountants used to take at least almost a year to get the nominations or visa applications approved under employer-sponsored visas. But since the accountants have been added to the priority migration skilled occupation list, these applications will be processed quicker. So they will be prioritized as compared to the other applications. So I would recommend people, if you are into this situation, look into these options as well, as you could be able to get your permanent residency sorted faster.
Exactly. There is no harm asking your employer, because you're actually providing, or you're giving your heart and soul to them. Asking this question, you can get a, if say suppose if you'll be getting a positive answer, you'll be getting your permanent residency sorted in
Exactly.
just a couple of
If you
days.
don't ask, you probably won't know.
Exactly. Right. Now moving forward to NSW, New South Wales criteria. That is a little surprising for me, because previously it was like a vice versa. When you're actually trying to apply 190, you should be working or living in New South Wales a little longer than 491. But now this is a completely different. Like for 491, you should be living there for about 12 months and working in your occupation for stream one. Whereas for 190, there is no stream. There are no stream. You just need to be either residing there for about 3 months, and then or you should be working in your nominated occupation. Even that is just for 1 week or 1 day will do, right?
Exactly. So at least 20 hours per week.
Okay.
So that
So
is
would you
important as
mind
well.
actually just trying to give us a little brief about these requirements as well, or should you just please, I request you, if you can please go with the state by state. We've already gone through Victoria, so we can go with the state wise, please.
Yeah, so let's talk about New South Wales state nomination. As everyone know that New South Wales actually opened their state nominations last Saturday, and they have the highest number of nomination places available for 190 as well as 491 as well. So what does it mean for you guys is that if you want to apply for subclass 190, then you can actually be able to apply for you need to be either working in New South Wales in your skilled employment, or you need to show that you have been residing in New South Wales at the time of your nomination application for at least 3 months.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, if you are currently residing in Victoria and you think you can get a job in New South Wales, you should go. You can move now, and then you could be eligible for the state nomination as well. And you don't actually have to live there in the New South Wales. You don't have to show that residency requirement of 3 months. So that's 190, as you know, and 190 has a lot of occupations in that list as well. And when we talk about 491, there are three different streams. So stream one is for the people who are currently living and working in regional and working in a dominated occupation for at least 20 hours per week for the duration of at least 12 months. And then we have stream two, where you must have did your qualifications relevant to your nominated occupation for at least 2 years. And then we have stream three is for people who have occupations in different RDAs, and they are not in New South Wales. They do not meet the requirements under stream one and two, and they can apply under stream three. So different RDA had different occupations. There are some occupations that are only available in particular RDAs. Some are not available at all. So when it comes to new requirements for 491 and 190, New South Wales is the only state that if you are claiming your experience, they want to make sure that that skill experience has already been assessed by your skill assessment authority. So you cannot claim any experience that has not been assessed. And in some circumstances, when you used to claim points for ACS skill assessment, even though ACS has deducted points, you can still sometimes, in some circumstances, could claim points under general skill migration as well. But when it comes to New South Wales state nomination, they will not allow you to claim those points. So be very careful when you do apply for the state nomination.
Okay. The stream three we are talking about, right?
Yeah,
So in stream three, you should have, if even if you're actually claiming the points for your Australian occupation, then you should have assessed that from the relative authority.
exactly. For all of
Got
them, for doesn't matter. It's not for just stream three. It's for if you are claiming points for news and you are applying for New South Wales. You can only they only would let you claim points after your skilled employment.
Okay, okay.
So
That's
after that deemed skill date,
mhm.
and if you are using that experience needs to be assessed as well.
What is the future of tradies with regards to New South Wales nomination for 190 and 491?
Yeah, we have received so many questions, and we have actually a lot of EOIs in place as well for motor mechanics, chefs, carpenters in New South Wales. So what I would suggest you is what's going to happen for that one is prior to COVID-19, motor mechanics were actually receiving invitations at 80 to 85 points. So if things goes back to the way they were, then that means the New South Wales people currently creaties in New South Wales will be getting 190 invitations quite soon. So I would say hope for the best. The rounds would start in the month of August. They normally used to do it every third Friday. So maybe this it will start from this month itself. So you might guys might be able to get some invitations if you do have your EOIs in place, and make sure your if you do receive invitation, you do meet the criteria as well. So in it comes to your EOI as well, your PT score must be valid and your skill assessment should be valid as well.
Okay, I've seen you talking specifically when it comes to couples, and most of the times, for like considering the situation, anyways, the first option it is comes like Canberra. So there is actually a saying in migration that Canberra is one of the state which is not going to let you go empty-handed. If not 190, you'll be getting 491. If not 491, then you'll be getting 190. Is that true? And if yes, it's true. So with regards to a couple who's actually a skilled couple, how Canberra is one of the suitable state for the couples?
So Canberra is a really good state for couples as well as for single people as well. But if you are a couple, you probably would get extra 5 points, extra 5 to 10 points, depending upon your partner's eligibility criteria. So, say for example, for the sake of argument, let's say, and so okay, so with Canberra state nomination, they have three streams. So, stream one is for if you have an occupation under the ACT critical list. Stream two is for people who are 457 or 482 holder, and stream three comes under the small business owner pathway. So when if you have an occupation under the critical list, obviously that implies that your occupation must be on the list, and you don't actually have to be working in your critical list occupation. Under subclass 190, you need to show that you have at least 6 months of full-time work experience, and for 491, you need to show that you have 3 months of part-time work experience as well. Doesn't have to be in your own field as long as you can have enough matrix points to get to secure an invitation. In the recent round, we have seen IT occupations such as business analyst, computer network system engineer, civil engineers have also received invitations at 65 points. So what does it mean for you is that 65 matrix points. Okay, so they don't really care about how high your skill select points are. So you don't actually have to do NATI and stuff as long as you have a higher matrix points. And a lot of people also get benefit, or a lot of IT people. This is a very important information for IT people, because you have to do a professional year program, and in order to you to get a skill assessment, why not do a professional year program in Canberra itself? So what's going to happen is it will give you 5 points for Canberra matrix points. They consider that as a 1 year of qualification. So you would be able to get your skill assessment, plus you would also be able to claim extra 5 points for 1 year of studies, and you would also be able to claim 10 points of your almost 5 to 10 points of residency as well, because you've been residing in Canberra for at least 1 year. And
So
say for example, if your husband got a or husband or wife got a qualification, or your partner got qualification of any bachelor's level qualification, and then they have competent English as well, so they would give extra 5 points. If they are working in one of the critical list occupations and they have a skill assessment as well in that, then they will also give you extra 10 points as well. Plus, say for example, if your partner can get 7 each, then they will get another 5 points. So someone who is single would be losing on to those points, if and as compared to the a couple who both have skill assessments as well.
okay, that's see. I'm actually asking all these questions on behalf of our viewers because there is a sort of very dark area, gray area, which they really need to understand because because it's related to their future. Permanent residency is not that easy, but on the other hand, permanent residency is easy as well, provided that you're actually taking the advice of a good registered migration agent.
Exactly. So, we every time we give information to people, like, we don't read out information. Most importantly, we give you all that information from our experience. So if you do have any doubts or anything, if you think you are in this kind of situation, you can give us a call on the number below. So that is our, you can contact me directly, is 0430081804. You can also contact Excel Global on 0415 060 000.
And this session, which we are actually doing, is only for the educational purposes, nothing related to any individual circumstances, right? And if you like this session, it's our request, please do share it with your family and friends. So at least, if not you, they'll be getting the benefit of this discussion. Let's moving forward to employer nomination visa. So
Yeah,
one
before
is
Ankur, before we move in, should we quickly touch base in regards to Tasmania state nomination as well, because they just opened couple of days ago.
yes, yes, why not, please.
Okay, no worries. So as Tasmania has actually recently started accepting applications from Wednesday, that was a couple of days ago, and they what they have said is they obviously would give priority to the people who are currently employed in health, allied health, infrastructure, engineering sectors, and they obviously need relevant skill assessments as well, that they must be working in that particular sectors as well. Also, TSOL, which is a Tasmania skilled occupation list. People who are currently employed, they have occupation in that list and they are employed in that sector as well. Those will be prioritized as well. And then moving forward, the third priority would go to skilled employment from NSCO level 1 to NSCO level 3 occupations, such as managers, professionals, and technicians. And if you are applying under a small business owner and you are employing local Australian citizens, permanent residents, or even 491 holders as well, you could also be eligible. You would also be prioritized as well. And then the fourth priority would go to Tasmanian graduates with very strong prospects. Not necessarily, they don't actually have to be employed or anything. If there is a strong, if they can show in their career plan how extensive the kind of work, the studies they have done, etc., they could be eligible for that state nomination under Tasmania as well. And say, for example, the last priority would be given to all other candidates, who will explain that, how they are contributing to Tasmania state nomination. So that is what the Tasmania state nomination is kind of all about. And obviously they don't want to use, they're not going to use all their nomination places all at once. So they will be doing small nominations over the whole financial year. So there is no need to rush. That's the exactly reason why Victoria has also stopped providing windows for ROI submissions, because last year a lot of people in a rush actually applied ROIs which were not actually quality. They were just trying to submit it through before the window closes. So be very careful. Take your time, because it's a very important application that actually decides whether you would be able to receive a state nomination or not. So you have spent a lot of time and money in studying for 1 year, or being employed in your nominated occupation, or studied for 2 years, then got skill assessment. Now this is your golden key to get the nomination approved, so that you can get your dream of Australian citizenship or permanent residency. So be very careful, be mindful, and take your time to apply for the state nomination. It doesn't matter whether it's Canberra or it's Tasmania, or if it's Victoria or New South Wales. Also, Anko, I would like to add, how a lot of people are currently in a rush to apply for New South Wales state nomination. And New South Wales has also said that as well, that if you do have multiple ROIs in place, say for example, if I'm an electronics engineer, or I'm a business analyst currently in Victoria, I would like to apply for stream 3, because that is one where I can apply. But if I get the opportunity that, where I can go and work in New South Wales, say I get a job after a couple of months, I work there for another 6 months. As we have seen always in the last few years in New South Wales, they always ease their requirements by the end of the financial year, as because they don't get enough places, etc. So a lot of people would be, in a good um, in a good form, where if they wait, and then if they can get a job and then apply accordingly, because sometimes last year a lot of RDAs accepted applications, if even though if you have less than 12 months of work experience. So look into those circumstances as well. That's exactly I would tell people as well.
So don't be in
um,
rush.
yes.
And moreover, like when it comes to the ROI system, right? And after speaking to Saurabh, I've seen that you need to present yourself in a limited characters, like 1,500 characters or 1,000 words, something like this. So even if you're actually taking this opportunity, words makes a massive difference. Use your words carefully. Present yourself in such a fashion that yes, you'll be the one being picked up by the states quickly. Am I right?
Perfect. So
Sorry.
I'm going to quickly go through. I will just quickly go through the Tasmanian graduate options as well for 491 and 190 as well. So say for example for 491 you would need to show that you have been studying for at least 1 year, and for 190 direct PR you need to show at least that you have been studying in a Tasmanian territory institution for at least 2 years. It could be a tertiary qualifications, obviously a bachelor's level or above, or even can be a Cert 3 diploma wet sector qualifications as well. So obviously they want to also, you don't actually, if you're applying under Tasmanian graduate, you don't actually have to show current employment at all. But obviously you would need to show in your career plan that you have prospects of getting employment in Tasmania itself. That's why where you gain those qualifications. And if you are actually working or employer, they will see that the employer must be established for at least more than 12 months, and you are actually being employed for at least 3 months or more. And then say for example that it's not just you can go and buy your business and then start paying yourself. So that's exactly, they're not they don't want that either. So if you are actually applying under dairy, meat, accommodation, logistics, farming industry, then they want you to have a relevant qualification as well, or training. So such as so I would say is try to get a certificate 3 level course at least, so that you can at least increase your chances of
Mhm.
getting a state nomination from Tasmania. So that is for if you are actually a Tasmania under a graduate pathway. Obviously, as you can see, they do have a priority industry training area. So if you are if you do study on those sectors or work in those sectors at least 20 hours per week, etc., you have better opportunity to be able to get the skill assessment. The Tasmania state nomination. And yeah, last but not the least, the career plan is very important, and they don't want long stories. They don't want you to writing like 5 or 6. They want at least 1 page, 1 to 2 page max, and then you can be able to obtain that Tasmania state nomination.
But as I said, choose your words carefully because that makes a massive difference and can get you the miraculous result, to be honest.
Exactly. And as I said previously, for 190 you need to have you need to have an occupation in TESOL list to be eligible for 190, because you need to show that you have been employed in 6 months full time. But for 491, your occupation doesn't have to be in TESOL, as you all know, so that you could be eligible for that as well. And obviously, there are other occupations as well, which are NSCO level 4 and 5, such as contract admin and other occupation, program administrator, etc. For those occupations, they need to be in certain area, and then the low populated areas. So then only you'll be able to apply under those occupations. This also implies to people currently working in aged care as PCA as well. But then there are some kind of criteria that they would have to meet under those.
Okay,
That's that's Tasmania completely.
what suggestion would you like to give to the people or to the applicants, those who are actually using the templates?
Yeah, so most importantly, when it comes to career plan, because that is what actually would help you get that permanent residency or state nomination approval. If you are planning on using templates, you are just wasting your time. I would not recommend you using templates at all. So if you are in the process of applying for the state nomination for Tasmania, be genuine, be honest, and then only go ahead and write your career plan.
Well, as said that yes, choose your words carefully. And Mr. Saurabh Smart, registered migration agent, already said to you this, that don't use templates because that may harm your PR prospects. Thus, moving forward to the last section, question and answer. Well, let's start with Rakesh. Rakesh, thank you very much for attending the session. The question is, if a company nominates for ENS, how many years he or she needs to work for employer? And do they need to show it to immigration that he or she worked for those many years?
Hi Rakesh, as you know, 186 employer nomination scheme is a PR. So once you have become a permanent resident, sorry, you don't actually have any obligation on yourself to show um, how many hours per week you have been employed, etc. So pretty much you need to do show to the department when you do apply for ENS that you have employment available with that employer for the at least duration of 2 years. So if that answers your question, yes. But there are some kind of obligations on 187 RSMS holders. So that visa is completely different than ENS. So that might answer questions to if anyone is in the RSMS category or ENS category, uh, it might be easier for them to apply for the citizenship down the track as well.
Zaki Ali, any hope for tradies will be invited at financial year this financial year from NSW 190? I think we've already
Um,
answered this question though,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we already covered this answer as question as well.
the next question is from Amna Khan. Thanks, Amna. And the question is, hi, I'm an enrolled nurse working in aged care regional Victoria for 6 months. Can I apply for Stream 3 NSW? I already signed 1 year contract of job in regional Victoria. As I mentioned above, can I terminate my contract or not? What do you suggest? Please advise. My visa is going to be expired on this November 2021. Which visa option do I have?
So Amna, as I can see, your question relates quite predominantly to your own situation as well, and you can actually send us a text message, or you can send me a Facebook message as well, and then I'll probably be able to answer you clearly as well. But what I can say is, look, Stream 3. If you are currently working in an aged care as an enrolled nurse, probably your aged care would have multiple locations all around the country, and if you can get a transfer to a regional aged care in New South Wales, you could be eligible down the track after 6 months, because we have seen New South Wales always tend to ease up their requirements. Or maybe currently later on down the track, Victoria might be able to ease those requirements either. Or if you have relevant work experience of at least 2 years or more, or at least 3 years experience, you can also apply for employer-sponsored visas such as subclass 494, 482. So those are employer-sponsored visas are also available as well, as your visa is expiring on November 2021. And there are plenty of options available too. Student visa should be your least option that you should avail, but there are other plenty of options available as well. So feel free to send us a message, and then what we can do is we can actually have a private confidential chat, and then I can advise you what you can do and how to do it.
Mohammed, thank you, Mohammed Meetwale, for attending the session. He is saying much appreciated for the efforts. Thank you very, very much. If my ICT qualification has been assessed as developer programmer and ICT security specialist at 90 points, 85 plus 5 for NSW 190, do you think that there is a good chance for 190 NSW? Thank you.
So there is a good chance for 190, but as you can see, you are sitting at 85 plus 5. I think you probably didn't do naughty, otherwise you'll be sitting at 90 points. Um, for 189, and then 95 for 190. So with these 85 plus 5, look, it's going to be a tough competition for you, I can tell you, Mohammed, because we have applications in place itself currently sitting at more than 90, 95, 100 points, or even 105 as well. So there is a big competition out there, as you know, that a lot of people from different states would try to go to New South Wales, who already have 1995 points. People are not getting invitation for 189, so they all are planning to go and live in New South Wales for at least 3 months. So the best course of action for you is either increase your points or seek alternative options.
Praveen, for Victoria 190, do we have to be employed directly with healthcare provider, or can we get a nomination if we are contracted through a consultancy?
Praveen, so it actually merely depends upon which sector you are working in. So if you're talking about healthcare provider, if you're working in a healthcare, say for example, if you're a registered nurse and you are working as in an aged care, but you're working through an agency, so your application might not be prioritized, but it will still be considered. There is no saying that they won't consider it, but they will be prioritized. And as I can see, that's exactly what they did in the last financial year as well. Most of the nurses who applied, who are working or who are employed directly to the nursing homes, got the nomination approval in a very quick time. But people who are actually employed through an agency, etc., they didn't get much their nominations approved, etc. But I would say is it's still worth applying as well. And yeah, so good luck.
Mahesh Luhar is asking, even though offshore is closed and my occupation, which is technician, not elsewhere classified, the number which he actually gave us is the same and says that is not in the eligible occupation list. Still, am I eligible to submit my EOI for 491?
So Mahesh, obviously your occupation is not eligible for MLT SSL, so you cannot apply for 491 family sponsor. You can only apply for 491 state sponsored occupations, and you can only apply once you do meet the state requirements. So lodging an EOI is not going to get you anywhere unless you meet the requirements.
Right. Praveen actually corrected his statement. He's saying, sorry, I worked for ICT. I got 95 points with 1 year experience, computer network system engineer occupation.
Yeah, so Praveen, if you are currently working in a healthcare, medical research is one of the seven target sectors, you do have the opportunity. You do meet the eligibility criteria, and then it's your ROI statement is the one that's gonna take you one step further. So I would say you are in a good position as compared to a lot of other candidates. So seek professional advice. Yeah, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah. Last but not the least, has been said that do not use the templates because words are magician, right? They can even make you or they can break you. So I
Exactly.
think with this saying, we should actually say thanks to our viewers and thanks to our registered migration agent, Mr. Saurabh Smart. Thanks to Melbourne Mama and Xcel Global for arranging this session. And I'm actually eyeing on 2 or 3 bottles, which is straight to the back of Saurabh's cupboard.
Hmm.
So I think
Yeah,
it's time for us to say cheers, Friday, and
absolutely.
good night. Enjoy your
Good
Friday.
night, everyone. Thank you to our viewers for having this, to watching us and asking us questions. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Thank you.